Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back in another video, and today I'm going to be doing my RWBY Volume 5 or Season 5, whatever you want to call it, Episode 1, Chapter 1 review. Officially, it came out today on YouTube publicly for everyone to see. For anyone who did not see my video about a week ago, link in the description box to my non-spoiler quick video I made on my thoughts about the movie, because the first chapter of this episode went into theaters by Fathom Events, into select theaters, and went to my local theater, so I went to it for one night only. Again, I didn't do the official review until today, which these will be spoilers, obviously. This will be the spoiler version of that review. I didn't do it officially until today due to the fact of I did not want to get a copyright claim. I am not a sponsor of Rooster Teeth, but I know there is those issues with a lot of people, companies that don't want you to upload reviews and reactions until it comes out. So that's why I did it that way. So officially we got the RWBY chapter 1, or not chapter 1, volume 5 today, and I'm going to talk about it. I did watch it again, even though I watched it already in the theaters. Again, you can check that out, link in the description box for that non-spoiler video I made. This episode starts off with, there's just this black, blank, you hear people talking, and then you see the lights, you see Crow, you see John, you see Ruby, Nora, Ren. They're all together. They're basically almost at Mistral at this point. I think they actually were technically in Mistral at this point. They get there. They open up this, because I guess they're in some type of cave or something, or tunnel. They get out of that, and you just see this beautiful scenery of what Mistral looks like. From looking at it from an outer view perspective. Ruby's just she just loves it and stuff like that. So that's where that is. After that, you see, I believe the next scene was Weiss, and Weiss, they go to Weiss. She's still in that cargo plane or whatever. Something really weird to note about the driver. The driver was like, we're almost there. We don't have any more stops, so it's right to Mistral and stuff like that. And Weiss is just like, thank you for allowing me to do this, or let me do this and stuff like that. So Weiss is been confirmed to be going to Mistral, so maybe she'll be meeting up with Team Ranger at this point. I guess Team Ranger's about to get Winter in it. I don't mean her sister, by the way. I was using that as a term because, you get what I'm saying. Okay. Anyways, then Weiss is just like, she's just like, there, and then, the driver says, all your money, is you can come here as long as you want it, as long as you have all this money or whatever. It's like implying that, he got paid to drive her, which I guess he probably did, but still, he had other jobs too. And if I'm not mistaken, in the previous season, we had this guy say that, if he gets stopped, by anyone, you're on your own. I'm not going to say that I drove you, that you just kind of hitchhiked on here yourself. Kind of a little hypocritical by the driver there. Anyways, so then there was a transmission, and it was about people that needed to be rescued, and basically turns off the transmission, and says, no, he's like, why, so you're gonna save them, right? And he's like, no, I'm not saving them. This is a cargo thing, this is a cargo ship. This isn't gonna be able to do anything. I just want to do this job and get out. And so Weiss is just not happy about this, but it's whatever. She's gonna be at Mistral. So that's kind of where that is all at. So we'll see where that goes. Since this is kind of a sneaky operation, obviously RWBY and all those other people from Team Ranger don't know that she's coming. Crow doesn't know she's coming. So obviously this might help a little bit when they meet up about their plan. But we'll see where that goes. Then we have the Team Ranger and Crow basically. They also made a funny joke too in the tunnel too about Crow, how he's the only one who died or nearly died or whatever. But anyways, then we have Crow. And Team Ranger. They're going. They're in the school or whatever, the Haven Academy school. And everyone, it's empty, so they're like, keep your guard up. So then they got their weapons all ready to go and stuff like that. And Crow gets to the door and, like you said, get your riders, and the weapons are open. And they knock the door or knock the door down. They knock the teacher down, who turns out to be Leonardo, I guess, or whatever. Lionheart, if I'm not mistaken. They talk to him, what's going on. They filled them in about the Seeker. Crow filled Team Ranger in about the secret, about the 4 seasons, spring, winter, fall, and summer maidens, and how they're powerful, and the spring one is obviously the most dangerous, as he said, because she's the intelligent one. I think winter was the god. It was for the maidens, because they all have their own unique abilities, but the spring one was the one that was the most important. And that's the one, that's where the plot is going to, by the way. So Lionheart talks about the Grimms and how the collapse of Beacon and all the stuff that's been going on since Beacon got collapsed. They seen how what happened, I guess, to Pura, because that's what at least I thought they were implying, that they actually seen what happened. So everyone's aware of the situation at this point. So they talk about it. Crow filled him in, and then of course he doesn't fill him in about the how powerful they are. So they had to explain it, how powerful these people are. And Crow was just like, Lionheart's like, I thought you told him everything. And I was like, most of it. I didn't tell him everything. This is why I don't teach, whatever. So Crow didn't kind of explain everything. So then he had to explain the rest of the stuff about these seasons. As I said, they all have their own unique abilities. Like I said, the intelligent one is the Spring Maiden, and that's the one that they need to get. Apparently, she left years ago and went off the grid, and basically went to Raven, aka Yang's mom, as John even specifically laid out, mentioning. So they talk about that, and they talk about, where she possibly could be, but they don't know how strong she is, of course. We don't know who it is. We don't know who any of these people are right now. Like, we don't know who the winter maiden is. We don't know who the summer maiden is. We don't know any of these maidens. We just know they are these powerful maidens, and we don't know who the spring maiden is. That's obviously the plot of this season, is that they're going after the spring maiden, because I guess she is the most powerfulest of them all. Now, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that are going to theorize who it is. I mean, I've already seen some people think it might be Raven. I doubt it's Raven. But, it could be. I don't think it is. I don't think Raven is the one that actually is it, because I feel like Crow would know that. Because Crow and Raven are sisters, brother and sisters. I feel like he would know that. So I don't think it is Raven. So they talk about he shows the location, and Lionheart is just all happy, and stuff. We'll start a search team in about a few weeks. And, Crow is just living. He throws the books down and stuff like that. And he's like, what do you mean a few weeks? We need to do this ASAP. We got to get out there. We got to send, someone out there. And he's like, I have to convince the council, that, we have to do this, so it's going to take a while. And, he's like, fine, I'll just go with, Team Ranger, basically. They're very capable of doing this. And they're like, and he's like, no, it won't work, because you and Raven are equally matched. And, the Spring Maiden has probably had, enough time of training, to probably, overpower them as well. So he's like, no, we shouldn't do that. Red's trying to, say, is there, a peaceful solution for this? And they're just like, no, to stop. So they ultimately say, we'll just wait a few weeks now. And they even mentioned, there's a con coming up too. So we'll check that out. I think that's funny that cons exist in the RWBY universe, by the way. So they walk out. Obviously, they're not happy. That's basically it for the Ranger gang over here. But like I said, there was a lot of interesting stuff there, and a lot of interesting to go on. This is obviously going to be interesting. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of theories on who this person is. I mean, hell, it could have been someone that we're not even aware of. It could be someone that we already know. It could be, the Spring Maiden could be someone that we already know, and we are not even aware of it. It could be someone that we don't know. It could be someone that Raven actually has concealed for a while. Like I said, I don't believe it's Raven. I know there's a lot of people that have already come out and commented that it's Raven. I don't think it's Raven. It wouldn't make sense if it was Raven, because Crow would know that. Crow would know. Crow, because they're brother and sisters. He would know if Raven was the Spring Maiden. He would know. He would know this by now. There's just no way. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes, and see if she, I'm assuming it's a she, maybe it is a he, I don't know. I think it has to be a she, though. Isn't there some rule about that? That they have to be she's or something? I don't know. But something like that, I think so, if I'm not mistaken. Someone correct me in the description box, or not description, freaking comment section if I'm making a mistake on that. But I'm pretty sure they have to all be girls. But anyways, so that was the end of that. Then they show Blake. Well, actually, no. I'm sorry. They don't show Blake first. They show Blake's mother, and then they show son, and then they show Blake's father, and they basically, just basically say the same thing, and they're all pissed about the White Fang and what they did. And then the mother just is like, Blake's mother is just like, at least there's something you both can finally agree on. I thought that was kind of a funny scene. After that, you see, Blake, and then there's this guard, and she basically just tells the guard off, you just go inside, I'm good right now. And then you see Blake's friend from the White Fang, who comes in, one of the newer characters in the RWBY thing. From the White Fang. And she's wearing her mask, and she just basically says that you're not going to be able to get away with it. It's not going to work. Your plan won't work. Her name's Il something. I got to figure out how to say her name. But she wears the mask. She wears her mask. She takes it off. She's basically, Blake, she says, you deciding to join up with Adam and stuff like that, is the wrong move. And, she's just saying your plan's not going to work, Blake, and, they just kind of talk about, the whole thing. And that's basically the end of that. It's just kind of like it's basically more like a warning, I guess. It was a warning scene. It's like, she basically is warning Blake that this plan is not going to work. And it's not going to work. But Blake's just like, no, I'm going to do this. And that was with it. They obviously have gone their separate ways. They're obviously friends, but they obviously are rivals now at this point, because Blake went one way and she went with the other way with Adam. It'll be interesting to see where they decide to go with that. The whole thing with the White Fang, because everything goes back to the White Fang, really, more than anything else, because it feels like, the White Fang were the ones that really kind of, obviously they really aren't the main, villains anymore, but they were significantly a part of this because they're aligned themselves with, Cinder and, the other person now, just everyone, we'll see where that goes. We'll see what happens with the White Fang. They're obviously trying to take over their land, most importantly. So we'll see how that goes. Then, after that, we had Yang, which is probably the best, the best of all of them. Yang finally getting to appear in this episode. Yang shows up to a bar, I guess you would like to call it, and the bartender. The bartender is, basically because she wanted to, I guess, have a drink, but she can't because she's too young. He's like, aren't you a little too young for this? And, then you see the guy in the background, and he's just like, you're too young for this. And he's just kind of creeping up on Yang and saying, you're just right and stuff like that. And Yang just knows what he's gonna say, and she's just like whatever. She's just not interested in him, but he's still creeping up on her. funny thing about this is Yang does not do anything to him until he tries to touch her hair. When he tried to touch Yang's hair, that was it. And Yang just punches him. Like, he punches him with that metal arm or whatever. Punches the tooth out. And just, Yang back. Like, just not playing around. And the bartender comes back and says, "This is on the house." It's a water. It's like, "This is on the house. This guy's been driving me crazy for a while now." So she drinks up a little bit of the water halfway, and she says, "I'm looking for someone." Drinks it up halfway, the water again. And then the bartender is like, "Not really that many people here, outside the kingdom, except for he's about to say Raven," and Yang just says Raven, and he's like, "Thanks," and Yang's like, "Thanks," and he's like, "No, you don't want to get messy with them, with those bandits and stuff like that, So it's been confirmed that Yang is going after Raven, aka her mother, which is very interesting because, if you guys watched my reviews from last season, which are in the playlist, by the way, my previous episode review will be on there from the season finale of Volume 4, which was done a year ago. But what I thought was interesting here was she confirmed that, yes, she is going after Raven. Because, at the end of the season finale, it was Yang had to decide if she was going to go after her mother or if she was going to go, after her sister. And I'm really surprised she didn't try to go after her sister, because obviously she's very close to her sister. Raven, obviously she isn't close to, because they never knew each other. So I'm really surprised that she's going to try to go after her mother. Obviously, I imagine maybe Yang, assumes that, okay, well, she's with Team Ranger, so she's going to do just fine with them. But it still surprised me that Yang went in that direction. Now, obviously, I think what's going to happen is that eventually they're going to all meet up, because it feels like that this is, obviously the plot is, Team Ranger's going after the Spring Maiden. I think that's going to eventually happen, where they're eventually going to go after the Spring Maiden. And obviously Raven has her. So that would put in where Yang is going after Raven. The Team Ranger eventually is going to go after Raven, assuming Weiss, who gets to Mistral, and I'm assuming they're going to meet up very quickly. At least I assume that, because it would make sense. Since, I'm sure she's going to probably try to go to the academy. So I think that's what's going to happen, is they're going to meet up. And then they're probably going to fill her in, and, we'll see where that goes. But, yeah, it was really surprising that they went in that direction with Yang. But obviously this is going to eventually set up them all meeting together. So, the whole team's, well, I guess this is a completely, full throttle assault team. But it's going to, pay off in the end. So yeah. Also, another thing to mention is Crow, when he was at a bar in Mistral, about to get drunk. We have Professor Osmond's little kid reincarnation, or mind control, or I don't even know. Maybe he's spirit like Merrick. I don't know. Like Merrick from Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know. Or like, one of those type of things where Yami Yugi, maybe it's one of those type of things. I don't know. But anyways, Professor Osmond's Abin is basically in, comes into the bar, and Crow, as he's about to drink, says, aren't you a little too small to be in here? And he basically says, shut up, I'm asking him now. And he's like, I would like to have my cane back. And right when he says that, Crow is just like, "Oh, okay, it's nice to see you again." And he just throws the cane to him. Crow just throws the cane to him, and so it opens up, and so now he has, Osmond's cane. We'll see where that goes. Then we see, after that, we see him basically at where Team Ranger is staying, and he knocks on the door. And he basically asks to see Ruby Rose. And, of course, Nora's just like, what for? Nora's just like, she was just calm like a second ago. She did the I don't know thing. And then she's like, what for? And then, in the next scene, you see just Crow come in the frame on Ospin's, and says, I found him, now Crow is drunk at this point. And he's like, I found him, and stuff like that. And it was just a funny thing, Crow was just all drunk, and it was hilarious. It was a hilarious scene. He was just like, just out of it. It was just, and it kind of gets me a little worried too sometimes when he gets that drunk. But basically, Ruby comes down the stairs and is like, he sees Crow, and he's like, Crow falls on the couch, and he's like, Crow, did you get drunk again? I think Osmond had mentioned about, Ruby's uncle getting drunk again or something like that. So, yeah. So, now, Osmond's person or whatever it is, I don't know. I think Osmond, I don't know if Osmond is dead or if this kid, because this kid was already alive, so it's not really a reincarnation. This kid was already alive, obviously, otherwise he'd be a baby. But that's why it leads me to believe it's more of possession type thing, but not really. Kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh, maybe like a Yu-Gi-Oh type thing, like where you have the spirits inside the person or something like that. That's what it kind of reminds me of, actually, now that I think about it. I don't know, though. That's the best example I can come up with what they're doing here with Ruby. And maybe it is, I don't know. We haven't had any proof it isn't, and we haven't had any proof that it isn't, or that it is. But that was one of the things that I noticed so far. I don't know if he's alive or dead, the actual person, or if it's just the spirit is inside of him now. But he can sure use his weapon now, so that's one positive thing. Like I said, very funny by Crow. There's just funny, he's just like, he's just like, he falls on the couch and stuff like that because he's all drunk. And, so like I said, that's basically how the episode ends. They just kind of leave it that way. It is really interesting how this episode went about. So Osmond's with Team Ranger and Crow, and assuming that Weiss meets up with them. We don't know where, how far away Weiss is from them. I'm assuming Weiss is going to go right to the academy and, hopefully meet up with them. And there's also one more thing I should note down that I didn't get to. At the end of the scene earlier with, Lionheart, there was some person who called after. They left the room and said, you need to work better on your people skills, I think it was, or something, which I thought was really kind of weird. And like I said, maybe there is something fishy about going on in the Heathen Academy. Maybe Lionheart has something hidden that we don't know about. I figured I should let you guys know about that too, because there was a note about that too. All we seen in that cell phone call was a W, so we don't exactly know what that means yet. But that is it that was the end of the episode, so that's basically it for the review. They did show the theme song at the end of Chapter 1. Thought it was a really good theme song. They always do this for RWBY, the first episode. it is always, theme song will be last. Next episode, the theme song will start first, but that's what they do for some reason. I don't know why, for the first episode of the season. But I thought it was a really good theme song. Overall, I thought this episode was really good. If you did watch this in theaters, good too. Like I said, I talk more in depth about the theater experience without spoilers in my video from a week ago, which the description box link will be in the description box, where I explain kind of what they did for the theater thing, so you guys can check that out. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about this. Let me know what you guys think about the how this chapter episode went. Do you like this? What do you guys think is going to happen in the next episode? Do you think I'm pretty onto something with these with my theories, or is there something else that I didn't cover that you think would possibly be happening going forward for RWBY? Let me know what you guys think. Comment, rate. If you like this video and my other videos, please subscribe. I have my Volume 4, Season 4 reviews, chapter episodes in my playlist. It will be in my playlist, so if you go to the playlist, you'll be able to see all my reviews from last season, from Volume 4, and as well as the previous episode from Chapter 12 will be in the description box as well for the review. And that's about it, guys. Comment, rate. If you like this video and my other videos, please subscribe, and that's about it. I am the SS Ultimate Goku, and I'm out of here. Peace.